Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Fredrick, Colorado. We've got a brand new Cimarron Norstar 3-horse gooseneck sitting behind us. This is a 2026 model. This is the RTG package. We'll walk you through it. Before we start really jumping in the trailer, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I'll show you some specs and how the trailer lays out. This trailer here, again, it's a 3-horse. This is the standard width, 6'10" wide. It is 7'1" tall. Empty weight on this trailer is going to come in just shy of 5,000. Okay, so it's going to come in about 4,900 pounds empty. We'll talk about the axles and the axle rating here in a little bit. But if you look at it, a lot of your newer half-ton pickups are capable to tow this trailer. So keep that in mind. Obviously, you need to know what your truck is actually rated for, but keep that in mind. It's definitely something you could get by with a smaller pickup, especially these newer half-tons that are rated, you know, a lot higher than they used to be. Cimarrons are all aluminum construction. You're gonna have an 8-year structure warranty, a 3-year hardware warranty, and then you're gonna have a tire warranty. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. We'll start at the nose. You're gonna have a couple marker lights, those button lights on top. I'll show you more when we get to the side of it. This one here is gonna have that polished stainless sheet. That's standard. I think it really dresses these trailers up, you know, from the standpoint of just the aesthetics, but also just getting it clean. It seems to be a little bit easier, and again, it dresses the trailer up. You're gonna have a B&W coupler. This is rated for 25,000 pounds, so well beyond what the capacity is and the weight of this trailer itself. But that's the coupler that they have designed. This is about the 3rd generation. What it allows us to do is it really allows us to have a lot of flexibility to move this coupler within this stem and setting it up for whatever your tow vehicle is as best we can to make sure this trailer is running level, but also bed clearance. Underneath the gooseneck, just a manual crank jack on this one. If you ever opted and said, hey, I want to you know, upgrade to an electric over hydraulic jack, we've done a couple things. You're going to notice that the spare tire is elevated. Okay, so a manual crank jack versus the electric over hydraulic. The electric over hydraulic has a larger footprint, so it needs a little bit more spacing there. So we would have to relocate that spare. Well, let's go ahead and do it. That way, if you ever want to, you can. That is just one less piece of cost that you have to incur to actually set it up that way. The other thing is the framework for the battery box. So an aluminum battery box, that's usually part of that package. That's where that would mount. Again, that bracing is already there, so it's going to save you, you know, quite a bit of time and hassle and extra cost, again, if you're wanting to actually upgrade into that. We talked about the coupler a little bit. One thing we've done on these kind of standard using trailers, like we're looking at here, is we've changed this gooseneck drop wall height. So from the bottom of the gooseneck to the bottom of the box itself. Standard is 50 inches, okay? A little history lesson for you. Used to be 47. That was in the early 2000s. Well, what happened? All the truck manufacturers redesigned their trucks, made their bed heights taller. So everybody in this street, they changed to a 50-inch. Well, what's happened over the last few years? Everybody's gone up on bed height. You know, Rams and Fords were always kind of that way here recently, and then GM changed to their new body style, made them taller. So we've actually gone in and made this a 53-inch gooseneck drop wall height. That allows us to adjust that coupler where it needs to be, try to get you as much bed clearance as we can, but keeping the trailer running level. So we've gone in and done that. This is a white sheeted trailer, that's standard. If you wanted to upgrade to a silver metallic, charcoal metallic, black, those are kind of the popular colors. There's a new Caribou that's a brown metallic that matches kind of Ford's Caribou color out there. They're brown on a lot of trim pieces as far as their packages go, so it matches there. So there is an upcharge when you go to one of those other colors. The RTG package, that's what we're going to look at here. So this is a 3.5-foot short wall on this, and then we're going to have a 4-foot offset. So we're 7.5 on this side of the trailer here. But the RTG package stands for ready to go. So first thing you're going to get is this 42-inch wide door. Big, massive door opening. I'll show you kind of what we're talking about here in a minute. But on the door itself, you're going to get the 4-tier blanket pull tree. It's on a gas shock, swings out, so you got those blanket bars right there on the door. Really easy and accessible, and again, you have that capability to swing them out. You're also going to get a brush tray. This is a great catch-all for items. Right now, we've got the hose for a water tank sitting in here. But your fly sprays, your hoof picks, your brushes, those type of items can be thrown in there. You're gonna get the fold up step. We really look at every trailer that's got a tack room, and we pretty much put a step on it for our inventory. The reasoning why is you have a running board on these trailers. This one's 6'10" wide, 7'6", you'll have a little bit of running board. 8 foot, no running board. But if you look where I'm standing to the bottom of this door frame here, that is a pretty big step, okay? Why not break it in half and put that step in there just to make the transition going in and out of this tack room easier? Maybe you're not necessarily hauling your saddles in because you have the swing out that I'll show you here in a minute, but it's just the movement going in and out of your tack room. Why make that big step? Even if you look at the running board, that's still a pretty big step compared to the actual fold-up step that we're looking at there. So again, it just makes it so much easier getting in and out of the tack room. So with this swing out saddle rack actually swung in, there's still adequate space to move in and out of this tack room. But you're also gonna get a swing out saddle rack. You have 3 saddle rack pads on this one here because it's a 3-horse. You can add more, you can change spacing, you know, you can do a lot of different things with this. Like right off the bat, I'm sitting there going, I want to move this bottom one up a little bit, just based on throwing the saddle on there. But I can move them where I want, tighten them in into the secure position, and that's basically just loosen these nuts on the top and the bottom on each of these, sliding them within this post itself and putting them where I want them. Or if I wanted to add another one, I could. But pay attention right here. This is where the 42-inch door comes into play, because we have space to move in between the saddle rack and the actual door frame in and out of this tack room, okay, even with this swung out. The other thing is, imagine big saddles on this, rope saddles, western saddles. You go to swing it in and look at the distance between the pad itself and the door frame. Now imagine a big saddle on there. A lot of competitors will put a 36-inch wide door on this. So you cut 6 inches off of this opening, and now you have the potential to drag saddles on that actual door frame itself. As we come in, we've got rubber on the floor, so really easy cleanup there. We've got a 12-inch boot box that goes partial way. This is another, you know, catch-all, kind of like your brush tray. You can maybe throw some tire changing equipment in here, some tools, maybe just miscellaneous stuff that you don't want floating around. It also works as a great bench if you're hanging out in here, or if you need to hop up into the gooseneck, a great step to get up there. And then we have the carpet on the deck, and then the drop wall itself. You got a couple windows up there in the gooseneck itself, so you can see out, create a cross breeze. If you're sleeping in here, you can throw a mattress, bedroll, sleeping bags. A Cimarron nose is 8'2" long, so a little bit longer than a lot of standard, you know, other manufacturers will use for their goosenecks length. So there's quite a bit of storage and depth to this actual tack room itself. Behind me on the short wall is a shelf. It is an 18-inch deep with a 2-inch lip. It's got rubber up there so it'll hold items. This is another great place for storage. There's one thing that with this package you're going to notice. There's a lot of capability for you to keep things organized, have places for things to live. This shelf is another one of those. Remember, that's a 3.5 foot short wall, so this is a good size shelf. And then if you look underneath it, it's got a clothes bar. So if you're, you know, traveling to shows, or you're traveling long distances and you need to jump in here and change into a show shirt, you can have it right here. It's not, you know, garment bags aren't taking up the back seat of the pickup. Again, organization, and that's a really nice feature. We do so many shelves on trailers. On the partition wall, you've got 2 rows of bridle hooks. These are aluminum powder coated, so these are good and stout. You got carpet behind it, so as your tack actually, you know, moves as you're driving, it's not scuffing up the wall. On the aluminum, you'd get kind of that quarter moon kind of groove cut into it in the sheeting itself. But that's where the carpet comes into play. So it's protecting the trailer, but it's also protecting your tack as well. And you think about it, horses are on the other side, so it's going to create noise as we're driving. So that's going to help with that. Behind the behind the saddle rack is a water tank. That's always kind of wasted space back there. All right, that's a 25-gallon high country plastic water tank. You fill at the top, empty at the bottom. That's why there's that hose. Get yourself a ball valve. You can fill buckets up right from the outside of the trailer. That way you don't have to pack buckets long distances, go looking for hydrants. Maybe you're just traveling. Maybe you got a horse that only likes water from home. We were just talking to a customer about that the other day, and that way you've got that water right here on the trailer itself. So as you can see, that's why they call it the ready to go package. It's very, very well equipped. Fold up step on a gas shock, so that's really easy to operate that as well. You have a couple button lights. You have one at the front, one at the back, but then you're gonna have a 16-inch awning light kind of splitting the horse stall. So as you can see, it's about dead center stall number 2 there here on the outside. That's a 16-inch LED light, so it shoots down and out, but it's not a pedestal light that protrudes up. So if you have, you know, branches or trees you go underneath, those pedestal lights will get knocked off. We see it time and time again of the little aluminum bracket and the wires sticking there and there's no light because those get knocked off. Not to say these can't, but because it's kind of more reset on the trailer, you know, you don't have the potential of that happening near as much. You have 3 bus windows. I give Cimarron a lot of credit. Really maximize the size of those bus windows. In comparison, if you look at that tack door, there's some manufacturers that will put that bus window as their, you know, butt side window on their trailers. Well, you got to remember, on a bus window, only half of it slides open. So a lot more airflow with this setup here. You have 3 tie rings, and then you go from the white sheeting down to the extrusion. Okay, we like that extrusion because it's a little bit stouter. You know, horses can't beat it up quite as easily as the aluminum sheets. So it's going to protect that. And then as we get into the axles, you have 2 5,200-pound Dexter rubber torsion axles. We have electric brakes. We have a 16-inch wheel. Okay, the black with silver accent. Aluminum wheels are standard on Cimarrons, and then a Goodyear 10-ply tire. Okay, so on this I mentioned a tire warranty. You're gonna have a 1-year, no questions asked warranty on the tires. That's from the date you purchase it. If you have a blowout, you catch road debris, or if you catch a nail or screw that punctures the sidewall and it can't be patched, they'll replace it, no questions asked, from the year, from the date which you purchase it in 1 year. Don't just discard the tire. We'll need some information, some codes, pictures of the damage. We can help you send in that warranty claim. It's not going to go through Cimarron. It's going to go through their vendor on the wheels and tires, but we can help you out with that. At the back, since this is 6'10" wide, you're going to get the 60/40 setup. Okay, so your right-hand door is a little bit larger than your left-hand door. So if you're just wanting to load and unload by opening one door, you can do that right. They're independent, so you can open one or the other, doesn't matter what sequence. The right-hand door is going to have a window in that, so you have a window at the back that's going to create almost like a little bit of a vacuum. You can really suck air through that stall area by having that back window in there. You're going to have an 8-inch awning light up at the top there, so you have a load light at the back. I'll shut these doors when we're done with the stall area, but if you look at those back tail lights on that top post up there, that header, there's a white X in there, and that is a built-in backup light. So when you put your truck in reverse, our backup lights are almost worthless on the truck. Those will, actually illuminate, and you actually have lighting. You will get home late at night in the dark, pulling to unfamiliar places. You want light back there when you're backing up, you've got that. I'll shut it, and there's 2 more on the upright posts, but they have them built in as well. Maybe your horse or you prefer a rear ramp load. Maybe you're wanting to use this to haul some toys. We can remove that rear rubber bumper and we can put a ramp over on the back. So there's always some things we can do after the fact. The hydraulic jack, a rear ramp. We can do a hay rack. We can do those type of things on these trailers. You're gonna have a butt strap that goes across. Just because it's a large opening back here, you don't necessarily want that bar going across there. You go to open it or release it, and a horse bumps it, it comes flying at you. Solid dividers. What I want you to notice is this back divider here, this is solid, but it can actually go against the wall and you can shut the back doors. We put a little bit of extra length in this back stall just to allow that. It's one less moving part to do a telescoping divider. So if you wanted to open this up, you can. It's on a spring, so it's wanting to pull that towards driver's side. We're tipped towards passenger side in this video. So if you level this trailer out, these will then lay against the wall. Stud divider at 1. So you've got that full divider that goes down the floor. So if you wanted to use this front stall for extra storage, you can. Don't have to worry about items shifting, getting under horses. as you travel, but maybe you got somebody you need to separate, and that's where that stud divider comes into play. It's got dual springs on it since it's a little bit larger and more material, but it's nice that everything, as you can see, these springs come into play. We want to make everything one-handed operation. Everything from shutting the divider to opening it with, you know, the potential of you've got a lead rope in your hand, you're bringing the horse on or off. So this is a plastic, heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch right here, so we don't have metal to metal contact with the divider, creating a lot of rattle while we're driving. Everything's recessed, everything is smooth. Even when you touch the divider, you really never run into 90-degree angles, something really sharp. Everything has a radius, so horse safety first and foremost. Again, really easy to release and open out of the way. We've got a chest bar that goes across the access door that we'll show you when we get to the outside. And we go ahead and we put the D-rings in each stall. So if you wanted to add the triangle feeder, they just snap into place. They're already there for you. You notice the kick mat that goes all the way around on the partition wall. It's on the head side and tail side. Here's a good look at the bus windows on the inside. You got these vertical bars as well. And then you've got two LED lights in here, the OptiBrite lights. They're big, they're clear, they put out a ton of light. They're fantastic. You have 3 roof vents. So you have one above each horse. They're two-way, so we can manipulate airflow. And then you have a standard insulated roof that comes on every single Cimarron. Doesn't matter what model it is, you're gonna get this roof. It's gonna protect your investment because it's really strong. It'll take substantial hail. It's a 1/2-inch thick honeycomb design. I can walk on the roof. It can take 150 pounds per square foot and it won't dent it. Also what it does, it keeps it cooler. 20% cooler than aluminum sheeted roofs. So it makes a massive difference in just comfort level for the horses in here when you're especially traveling in those real hot summer months. Also, you don't have a metal roof that's connecting into the sides of the trailer with all the rest of that aluminum, which creates a vibration and makes a lot of noise. So it's a lot quieter ride for the horses themselves. On the floor, we have rubber mats. Underneath there is the aluminum floor. That is the industry's best floor. Cimarron floor is a 12-inch extruded deck piece that locks in high and low, like tongue and groove. It has, in that 12-inch deck piece, it has 4-inch centers with a V-truss in the middle. So I know I threw a whole bunch of just jargon at you. What that means, basically, if you look underneath this trailer and then you put a horse on this floor, wherever they're standing on 1, if not 2 support beams. Best floor in the industry. When you're building a house, doing something like that, you want to start off with the strongest foundation and then build up, and that's what you have on a Cimarron. Our light switches are right back here on this driver rear post. Everything's independent, so I can turn on those stall lights, I can turn on passenger side load light, rear, driver side, or all of them. Everything is key-like on this trailer too, so these rear doors, our tack door, all these drop-down feed doors, everything has one key. Got another 16-inch awning light, again splitting stall number 2 there, so you have that light on the exterior all the way around. As you can see, we've got the drop-down feed doors with jail bars. They're really easy to drop down. You kind of just lift up, there's a track that they fold down. You can offer them some more feed, some water, set right in there. Pay attention to the size of the drop-down feed door. This is all framework all the way around it. So big, massive opening for more airflow, but heavy, heavy duty drop-down feed doors. These guys are stout. You'll see some competitors do a prefab. It's really lightweight. It's like a piece of paper in your hand, can break really easily. Welded hinges with grease zerks, so you can maintain these yourself. You see this kind of brass ring right in the middle there. Well, it's connected to a rod that goes the full length of that, and it's got a groove cut into it. Picture a candy cane, all right? You put grease to that, and you start opening and closing these, and it feeds grease throughout. So if you get one that kind of starts squawking like a goose, gets a little stiff, you can actually maintain it yourself by doing that. Other manufacturers will have a welded hinge, but it's capped, so then you got to heat it up. It takes more to actually get lubricant to it. We see a lot of them get holes drilled into them because they're trying to get some type of lubricant into the actual hinge itself. Here's a look at that access door from the outside. Again, there's that chest bar. It also has a drop-down feed door on it, a little bit smaller, just because we have to work within the framework of the door. But some manufacturers will do this with a little bus window. Cimarron puts the actual drop-down feed door for you. So again, gets a lot more airflow in there. Again, everything can be, you know, locked up with one key. So nice to be able to secure that and not have to look for 8 different keys to lock up this trailer. So as you can see, this is a great little runaround trailer. Maybe you got a big LQ and you need something to run around, you know, going to the horse show, going to local events, vet, something like that. Or, boy, I need a really well-equipped 3-horse that I can pull. Again, maybe it's my half-ton, or, you know, hey, I'm looking to make that upgrade, because we do take trade-ins, all right? So if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, we can help you there. Stock number on this guy is 5N251390. Again, it's a 2026 Cimarron Norstar 3-horse gooseneck. We do offer financing, so we can help you out with that, and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring it to your doorstep. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.